Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, the numbers, they are not good. Oklahoma's incarceration rate is the third highest in America. Per capita, we lock up more women than anyone else in the country. And in the past 25 years, Oklahoma's prison population has more than doubled from about 11,000 to over 26,000. And it's an issue that many believe can be traced back to a single factor: drugs. Today, we begin by looking at the addiction connection to Oklahoma's swelling incarceration rates.
Next week?
Yep.
Okay.
Callie Barrington didn't think she'd ever end up here.
I sit around, obviously I've had a lot of time to sit around and think, and no, I wouldn't have ever thought that. You know, I grew up in a family where I have three siblings. We're all college educated. I have a sister in the military, another sister that's a social worker, and a brother that's a missionary in India. I come from my parents that are school teachers, both have master's level education. No, I would never have thought that I'd be sitting here.
But she is, all thanks to a prescription drug addiction.
For me personally, I believe that some people have a predisposition to become addicted to substances, whether it's alcohol or drugs. I have a family history of addiction, specifically alcoholism, and I think people are predisposed to it because I know that after I started taking that medication, and the longer that I was on that medication, you build up a tolerance for it in your system that requires you to take more, and it's just a vicious cycle. And if you don't, you know, recognize soon enough to get out of it, you're already addicted before you know what happened to you, and you're on that continuous cycle, and you just continue to take more and more medication as your tolerance builds up.
Now serving a 30-year sentence, the depths she's reached is starting to hit home.
I think they thought they were helping me out, and that the harsher the penalty they could give me, it would get my attention. And to be quite honest, that's what I needed at the time. I had been to several treatment centers. I had tried that. I tried a lot of things, and I literally needed everything taken away from me to realize the situation I was at and the place that I was at in my life. And looking back now, I understand why they did what they did. It still is a very harsh sentence.
Long time.
It's a long time, because on a 30-year sentence, you do a third of your time, which is a flat 10 calendar years.
And if there is a path that leads to prison, drugs are certainly on it. Behind bars at Lexington State Prison, Vincent Ross is not here on a drug charge, yet his crimes are drug-related.
Usually I wake up about anywhere between 4:30 and 5. Not a day goes by that I don't think about it. Not one day, not 1 hour, not even hardly a minute goes by that I don't think about what I did. And I'll come up for parole the first time in 2034.
The time for the crime may not be on a drug charge, but it's a start to understanding the beginning.
My drug of choice was cocaine, crack cocaine. You know, go out and get high for a couple of days, then be straight for a couple of months. It continues to get worse, it snowballs. And the longer it goes, the bigger it gets. I've had many opportunities for help. There comes a point where in my inner self where I feel like I gave up on the struggle. I gave up on the struggle and let addiction just have its way. I never would have dreamed that I would ever be capable of robbing anybody. But then that addiction was so powerful that all the other means were gone, and the thought entered my mind, well, I'm out of money, I can just take somebody else's. I portrayed like I had a weapon. The very first robbery I committed was a Subway sandwich shop. And I remember getting to the point of actually going up to the counter and trying to develop the courage, which it wasn't courage, it was just stupidity, to actually follow through with the intent of robbery. And I remember thinking to myself at that time, okay, I can just turn around and walk away. But I didn't do it. I would say 95% of the people that are incarcerated are here because of drugs, and the system doesn't do enough. The power of addiction, that's real prison. That's bondage. This isn't bondage, this is confinement.
More than half of all Oklahoma offenders are serving sentences for nonviolent crimes. The majority of these drug-related.
We really do incarcerate too many people in this state.
A tough-as-nails prosecutor Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater spends his days sending people to jail. Yet even he sees a growing disconnect between drug addiction and incarceration. Oklahoma ranks first in the nation when incarcerating women and third when incarcerating men.
At some point, we're going to have to stop looking at building additional prison beds and really start looking at investment of those dollars on the front end of a person's life.
An investment that allows certain offenders to go through rehabilitation rather than incarceration.
These are not going to be quick answers. You know, we're not going to know what the effect of any given reform is going to be until a number of years down the line. But what we do know works, based on our experience with therapeutic courts, is that those people that would otherwise go into the prison systems for drug or alcohol-driven crimes, if we send them into an intensive program, a therapeutic type program, that those do work. And what we've learned is that, you know, we're at costs to incarcerate a person in this state right now anywhere between $18,000 and $23,000. Our therapeutic court programs like DUI court and our drug court programs they cost about $5,000 a year. So you have that comparison in cost, that savings in cost, but not just that. A person who successfully completes the drug court program in Oklahoma County is about 5 times less likely to reoffend than a person that was incarcerated for the same offense and is just released back into society with minimal counseling and minimal treatment.
Breaking the cycle of addiction that for some families has made the prison gate a revolving door. And a new trend is underway to reduce prison populations as states try to tighten their belts. When we return, a look at both who goes to prison and for how long.